Here we go with the second round already. We can see that there are already some movements on the board. Let's see what we have here. So on the first board we have Miroslav Háša playing against Radim Kostlivý, and if I'm not mistaken, Greggy decided to use this opening, which he also played in the Hungarian tournament back in March. Okay, actually it's one lower. Yeah, it's one lower, definitely. So, okay, that's a misclick. We have this one, and it appears that Radim Kostlivý decided to be black, and this is their current position. It favors white, I would say. This black move has to be found. Gergő Tóth and Miroslav Háša played a similar game in which Gergő decided to play here, which enabled white to have a winning position here, but Gergő could not find it that time, and Gergő launched a really nice counterattack and won that game. Let's see how prepared Radim is from this position. He actually did play here, so let's see how Greggy is prepared for this one. Will he play the correct version this time? On the second board we have Matěj Holub opening to Pavel Laube, and that game is progressing as well. Okay, let's try to find those coordinates. It looks like a scheme was played and there was a swap too. Pretty sure that's what happened here. Okay. White stone is here, this one's here, this is the swap to, probably, yes. And it looks like Matěj Holub decided to be white and play already into the space. Kadlub is trying to control the position here, fight back, pose some threats to white, so white cannot already go to the space. I have to say that this position is in the favor of white if played properly. On the long run, white should be able to come up with a sufficient strategy that enables white to launch a really good attack here. So let's hear, this move was played, this one, it's pretty much I think the same as with Gergő. This time though, I believe Miroslav Háša will end up being the winner of the game. Probably he did check this variant as he lost from it the previous time. Now Radim Kostlivý needs to be very sharp here. There's not a lot he could do with black. White has really good control of the position. I'm not sure a lot can be done with black here. Black is kind of doomed. But maybe he may pick the line that Gergő played. and the game might end the exact same way once that happens. We shall see. So both players, Radim Kostlivý and Matěj Holub, are thinking on their next move, but in very different ways, because Radim Kostlivý needs to survive, whilst Matěj Holub needs to devise some offensive strategy to outplay the current world champion Pavel Laube. And it's probably not going to be very easy, given the fact that Kadlub himself is an excellent player. And he will surely not give this win easily to Matěj. Quick movements on the first table. Radim decided to play here. Gragi plays the expected move, the offensive one. Radim quickly answers with the defensive one. And now, most probably this is gonna get played. And here we can see that White is playing very aggressively here, gaining tempo in the position, an aggressive approach, which has to pay off for him. But it won't be easy like a piece of cake. Gragi has to work for this win. Okay, apparently a different version. This gets played first. The defense is definitely coming from the middle, I believe. Yes, already there. So once more Gragi chose the other sequence. Now it's on the board. This has to follow up next. And then it's an awful lot to deal with. We shall see if Radim Kostlivý manages to somehow survive in this position. Probably the best he can do here is fight for a draw, in my opinion. The move arrives from Miroslav Háša, and this is going to, I believe, enable us to give some thoughts on the second board, where we have this position where Matěj Holub needs to find a way to outplay his opponent, who is none other than the current world champion Pavel Laube. What could he do here? First of all, he has to consider some very aggressive moves. Whether or not anything like this can work, does Black have enough resources to attack? Obviously, moves like this will not survive on the long run. So you have to only consider the aggressive answers that are possible for Black here. And once you check those, and you maybe find some lines you would not feel comfortable with, although I don't know, I don't really see how Black will save this here, to be fair, because this move pretty much controls everything in the area. But nevertheless, he may consider a slower approach, build somehow like this, slowly surrounding his opponent. I believe Piggy has quite a few very good options that he can choose from here. Possibly more than one winning moves, I would say, given the position. It does look like that to me. As a matter of fact, I believe both of my ideas are like first and second best within the position. Like, this should be the best move because I don't see any way for black to save this game after this aggressive move. And even if you are not brave enough for that, this should be the second best because it rather controls again, and you will just need to go to the space a bit later in a bit more moves, which is why I would obviously prefer J7 in the position. But this should be also winning, just maybe a bit harder to win from here. That's all it is. Nevertheless, it's Matěj Holub who needs to find one of these moves or one of these mighty continuations if he wants to defeat the reigning world champ. And here we can see that Radim Kostlivý decided to use this defensive line. Can this work for him? Is this enough? Probably not. It should probably not be enough. Now, obviously, at least obvious to me, you have to think about using these diagonal threats, how to combine it. Maybe a move like this can be sufficient. Black has this VCF threat here, but for example, this move creates a VCF for white on this line, which means black will need to defend. So the key here, I would say, is to keep forcing black to defend and eventually succeed with your attack, for which I would consider these two moves first hand. And Positive Greggy is also considering one of those moves. And yeah, he actually played here, which looks really promising for him. Really, really promising. He might be close to winning here actually. And it looks like Matěj Holub decided with a different move than the ones I offered. He played k5, which seems to me not that bad, however. Probably black goes in the middle, then you have to block from the left, and maybe this move could be tricky enough to create enough resources for Pavel Laube to successfully defend. Although the position is still pretty much in favor of white, to be fair. But again, this is much harder to win from here than, for example, it would be from this one. Nevertheless, defending this one is also not going to be an easy task. And perhaps Pavel Laube is not going in the middle, but he is planning to go. I'm not sure. Maybe some other move like he can consider J7, K6, make Piggy some hard win allow him to have a hard win, expecting him to not find it. That's also a possibility. We shall see how it's gonna turn out in the end. And Radim Kostlivý decided to play the expected defensive move as he was forced to defend. Right here, right now, a couple of offensive opportunities for Miroslav Háša. Maybe this move could be the ideal continuation, because if this gets played to defend, you just simply block it, and then you can calculate whether you have enough here to finish the game or not. That's something you need to consider. And if you decide, if you see it a way you don't have enough there to finish the game, then you obviously have to play here first, play the 4 to enable this one as well. And then you can just go on like this, I believe. Which means an additional diagonal threat you will be able to use in the game. Yeah, possibly this move would be coming, because this has to be played. And after this is a VC. No, there's actually no VCF because there's a cut. However, you can play here simply, and the 4 has to be played, then the block comes from here, 4, 4, 4, and you close it with a double 4, and there is your win. So I believe this is the line Miroslav Háša needs to find here to successfully win this game. I do not see any defense afterwards. But of course it's something he needs to find. And here we can see Kadlub did try k6, which is quickly answered by an offensive move launched immediately on i7 from Matěj Holub. Kadlub with a few options here. He can of course try this one, which would need to be defended, apparently. And I'm not sure how good this defense would be. Maybe this was not the very best way of attacking. Nevertheless, it's still kind of open. Black is still in some trouble there. And actually, Greggy deemed this move superior and is attacking this way. It also is looking quite well to me, with the only issue I see here is this can be played posing a threat here. This would have to be defended, perhaps like this, and then you can just play here, and maybe, just maybe, there is not enough here then. Of course, this is probably not an option, but I don't know, because this has to be blocked from above, obviously, and then this might just be enough to finish the game. Yes, it does look so, although you would have to play this first. Yeah, so this could be also a finishing move. And because of that, I believe probably this should be played first, because this one is not that threatening anymore. Of course, still white is having the upper hand, although after such moves like this, black can also launch its own attack, so white needs to be careful. Cannot let black gain tempo in the game. And apparently Radim Kostlivý was quick to find h9, and now Gragi needs to decide what's up next, because even if he plays the direct one, he's wasting his resources. It's not good for him. Because of those reasons, I believe he has to play here and then find something, but I don't see how this is enough here. It just does not look enough to me to win the game. But yeah, apparently this was already played. So after all, it seems like Radim Kostlivý does stand a chance of surviving here. Meanwhile, Pavel Laube is still carefully considering his next move against Matěj Holub in the second round of Brno Cup 2024. Some exciting developments on the first two boards here. I believe after the attack Gragi chose, now there is a chance for survival for Radim Kostlivý. Oh, and Pavel Laube decided on his move. He plays J5, which I'm pretty sure is gonna be answered quickly by I4 coming in the middle, and then just this move, it looks terrific for white. A really nice position to attack from, because it's a very open. Black cannot pose a lot of threats, which should mean that white has a pretty strong base for an attack. But let's see. Okay, these two moves have been played indeed, and I'm pretty sure J7 has to come in the position. It just has to. I don't see any other way of playing this one. Yes, it's awfully devastating for black already. It's just devastating. This move has to come from Matěj Holub. And it did. He has a great position against Pavel Laube. And the expected defensive move h11 from Radim Kostlivý, which means I believe that he can survive here. As a matter of fact, he may pose some threats later on, depending on how the game continues, of course. Slightly troubling for Miroslav Háša, who decides with J10 very quickly. And now we need to see how this is gonna continue. I believe the block comes here in the middle. Then from above, this move gets played, and I believe it's time to go for a counter attack here. At least pose some threats, create some lines for yourself as well. This would need to be blocked either here or here, because this is simply not enough due to this attack, as you can see. And probably this would be the move he plays next, after which there's probably not really enough here to pose a lot of threats for his opponent, but maybe some counter attack along these lines could allow him to make a comeback here in the position. And even if not, he's not wasting a lot here. He can still go back here, probably, and defend. Although it's not gonna be easy, this position for white is not bad at all. Oh, a different way. And it looks like I have missed the game. It must have ended with a quick win for Priggy. Nothing else I can imagine. It's a pity I missed it while thinking of a possible line for Radim Kostlivý, who decided completely differently. He played here. He chose this line. And this to me means that probably something like this should be enough to close the game. Because now the resources are used up here. And white has all this space for itself. Okay. A bit differently, but this move comes up. Here's the follow-up, and now the threat is posed. But after proper defense, I don't see how it's gonna be linked, because now there's not a lot of chance even for anything on these lines, because this 4 has been used. It looks like Miroslav Háša is on his way of collecting his second point. Solid defense. He quickly played this move. Black doesn't have anything left here to try, which means black is forced to go back to defense, but there's nothing you can defend here. The position is overwhelming. And I'm assuming Radim is also in time trouble, because we can see Lukas Socek in the background. I think it's Bone. No, it's not Bone. Bone is sitting there playing still, it looks like. So anyhow, someone is writing the moves for Radim Kostlivý, which means he is in some time trouble. Greggy needs to go aggressive here. That's the way. He has a pretty good position for that. A lot of offensive space there. He must be able to use his opportunity. I would probably consider some indirect way of threatening here, just like this. Wherever you block, white extends the attack here, and it's over. It is just over. Okay, it looks like Greggy once more has a different idea than me. He's pushing the attack this way. And now he's thinking, I believe this is about to come. Then with this move you have to block here this threat, and then a confident, comfortable finish here for white, making 5 in a row with these threats. A move like this is called a double Fukumi because it creates two different VC of threats. And I believe he has to be able to see that. Even if the block comes from here, it changes not a lot, only that the win is a bit shorter. Alternatively, he can play this diagonal or any other winning combination he prefers. But the block came from here, quickly played, and now the finishing stones have to come from Greggy there. And they are coming. Once more, he prefers a different sequence to mine, but in a situation like this, it does not matter because they are equivalent. And Radim Kostlivý congratulates his opponent. Miroslav Háša has collected his second match point. Now we are going again on a short break, and soon we will be back with the third round of the Brno Cup 2024.